A long time ago, in a faraway kingdom, a poor farmer decided that he was going to the king to ask him to lend him some money. In return, he would take his dog along with him as a ransom. He would give the dog to the king, and the king would lend him the money. And when he was able to pay back the king, he would return for his dog. The king agreed, and he lent the farmer the money, and the farmer went off on his way. Now that night, as the king slept, thieves came into that castle, and they cleared the castle. They took everything that they could. The gold, the silver, the jewelry, all of the king's special treasures. And they packed it into 3 bags, and they went on their way. They passed by the river, and they decided to sit and rest for a while. And then, suddenly, they had a brilliant idea. Thieves always have brilliant ideas. They would throw the bags of treasures into the river and return for them the following evening. And that's what they did. They all agreed, and they went on their way. But what they didn't realize was that the dog was hiding behind that tree, and he had seen everything that they had done. He didn't say a word. He didn't even bark. He just hid, and he looked in silence. The next morning when the king got up, he saw everything was gone. And of course, the king was angry. He was so angry. He started to quarrel with that dog. "You stupid dog," he said. "Why didn't you bark? What kind of a dog are you? You could have barked at least once. What is wrong with you? You stupid dog," he said. He was so angry. This king was so angry. So he called all his subjects, and he sent them off to look for his treasures. Those men went high and low in that kingdom. Down in the valleys, up in the mountains, they searched and they searched. But they found nothing, not one thing. They returned to the king with their faces down and their hearts sad. And they told him that they had found nothing, even though they searched high and low. The king was so angry that he didn't notice what the dog was doing. This dog kept running up to that king, and he would look up at him and go, "Oh, oh!" And then he would run down to the river. And he waited. But nothing happened. No one came. So he ran back up to that king, and he went, "Oh, oh!" And then he ran down to the river. And he waited. But nothing happened. However, there was one wise old man in the village. And this man noticed that something was up with the dog. So he called some of the king's men, and he told them that they should follow that dog and see what he's up to. And that's what they did. And when they got down to the river, the dog looked, and he was happy because finally there was someone to report to. So he ran up to the feet of the man, and he went, "Oh, oh!" And then he ran down into the river, and he splashed in the water. But nothing happened. So he ran back up to the men, and he went, "Oh, oh!" And he ran back down into the river, and he splashed, and he waited. And the man thought, "Let's follow this dog and see what he's up to." That's what they did. And what do you think they found? Yep, all the king's treasures were down there on the riverbed. So they took it up to the king, and they told the king what had happened, and the king was so happy. He was so pleased. The king decided that he would write a little note to the farmer, and he would tell the farmer that he didn't owe him anything again, since his dog had erased his debt. And that's what he did. He wrote his little note, and he tied it around the dog's neck, and he sent him off to find his master. The dog was so happy. He was so excited. He left and he ran down away from that castle to find the master. And just then, he noticed someone approaching the castle. It was the master. The poor farmer had finally been able to make up enough money to repay the king. But as he approached the castle, he saw his dog running away and coming towards him. That farmer was so angry. he turned around and he picked a piece of latia from that tree and he beat that dog and he hit that dog. "You stupid dog," he said. "Why did you run away? I left you with the farmer. With the king, you were supposed to stay. Why did you run away? You stupid dog." But then the farmer noticed something around the dog's neck. It was the note. And when he opened that note and he read it, he promised himself that never again would he act in a fit of anger. Thank you.